Hi, welcome to this week's Dragonblade Authors Unplugged. I'm so excited. I've got Jude Knight with us this week, and mystery woman Jane Charles is with us too because her camera's not working. So we're just going to get her. We're just going to get her fabulous voice. But we had tons of releases this week, and ladies, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
My pleasure.
Happy to be here.
So we started off the week with Miwa Lee's book, which is A Most Peculiar Courtship, and it's book 3 in the Daring Damsel series. And we'll catch up with Miwa in the future, and also I'll make sure I pop the link to her book in the comments so you can grab it. But the next book that came out this week is Jude's book, and it's The Night Dancers, and it's book 12 in A Twist Upon a Regency Tale. And I'm so excited to hear about this one and also to hear about the fairy tale behind it. Jude, can you tell us about the book?
The Night Dancers is about 10 sons of a marquis who have been locked in a tower because their father is one of the most evil villains I've ever written. He wants to control their entire lives, and when they displease him, he takes revenge on them by doing something nasty to some of the younger brothers.
Oh, man, this evilest villain ever to.
He's really horrid. But although they're locked in a tower, they're somehow managing to get food that's not provided by him. They're somehow managing to dance their way through their dancing shoes, their dancing slippers. Strange things are going on. He's sure they're escaping somehow, but he's had that tower searched so many times, and the only way out is heavily guarded. So he keeps sending in investigators, and my heroine, dressed as a man, is the 5th such investigator.
Oh, cool.
She comes in expecting, she is actually, unbeknownst to the Marquis of Tain, investigating him, not what his sons are up to. Although she assumes that his sons are probably chips off the old block. But her cousin has gone missing. Her cousin was married to one of the sons. She disappeared, and Mel wants to find out what happened to her.
Oh, goodness.
So she disguises herself as an investigator and immediately finds herself attracted to Alan, the eldest of the sons. So
where this is going.
So as they uncover one another's secrets, they fall in love and find that they can make. Alan's plan was, as soon as his youngest brother turned 21 and was no longer under his father's authority, they would escape the tower. But Mel has a better idea. She wants to take Tain down entirely, and so
that is a better idea.
Together, and taking him down involves all kinds of shenanigans. And meanwhile, he's up to nasty things to try and prevent them from doing what they want. Now, since I had 10 brothers, I wanted to give them, because I've got a romantic heart.
Well, yeah.
So I finished up with 9 love stories. One for Mel's sister, and 8 for one that was my primary love story, and 7 other marriages for the brothers, and the 2 younger brothers went overseas.
Oh my goodness! So like everybody gets a happily ever after.
So everybody got no, not Tain. He doesn't get a happily ever after.
We don't want him to have one, so that works out just fine.
No, he got the nastiest death I could imagine.
Good.
And I've got quite an imagination. So it's based on the story of the 12 Dancing Princesses, which some of the listeners may be familiar with. Exactly the same story. A soldier is the last in a long stream of investigators trying to figure out why the 12 princesses are dancing their way through their shoes. And he follows them. He manages to avoid being put into a deep sleep. And by the princesses, and follows them to an underground palace where they dance with princes all night. And the and he falls in love with the eldest princess, and she with him. And so he solves the problem and wins the princess and half the kingdom. And the thing was that it didn't quite stop there, because as I wrote the story, at that point, it was scheduled to publish in December, and I kept singing in my head the 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh.
So especially, so for Christmas dinner, I set it at Christmas, and for Christmas dinner, my imprisoned brothers brought home from the ladies' club, secret ladies' club, at which they are dancing each night as escorts. My heroes are male escorts. Isn't that fun?
Oh, that is fun. That is fun. We almost missed knowing that. I'm glad we got that bit.
And they brought home partridge pie and baked pear clafouti for dessert.
Oh, fun.
So I had my partridge and my pear tree.
Pear tree. Yeah, that's very fun.
And so it went. I managed to have 5 weddings all at once, which was 5 golden rings. At some point, I have 10 lords dancing, or 10 lords leaping all over town, solving problems. So day by day, in the course of the main part of the story, I have one of the 12 Days of Christmas
Jude, that's
referenced
so
in a way. So that's a little puzzle for my readers to unwrap as they read the book.
Those
trying
are
to
lovely
figure out
Easter eggs.
what I did. Some little Easter eggs for special. So that's it. So so lots of happy endings. I named the brothers when I realized how many characters I had to have in order to do 12 dancing princesses. I reduced it to 10, but I mean, still, that's a lot of people. So I named them in alphabetical order just to help people keep track. So my hero is Alan. His next brother is Baldwin. The brother after that is Cornelius. Baldwin and Cornelius are twins. Cornelius is an absolute sweetie. Baldwin is quite a suspicious character. Quite sure everyone's up to something. And
sounds
so
like a lot
it
of
goes.
people are, so, you know.
Well, he had cause, let's face it.
Yep.
So I had so much fun writing it, and the reviews so far seem to be indicating that people had so much fun reading it.
Oh, good.
I've had some lovely, lovely reviews. And it's just so nice to see it out there, meeting readers.
Yeah, well, that sounds wonderful. And this is a good place to remind readers that we love when you review books. It helps other people find books that they're going to love. It helps the authors. Our hearts go like Grinch sizes, multiple sizes when we get good
they
reviews.
do. They grow. I walk around with a big grin on my face for the rest of the day.
Yeah. It means just a couple of words mean an awful lot, and it doesn't have to be paragraphs or a description. It just has to be how the book made you feel, and that's it just means.
And absolutely, and even if you've got something to say that you didn't like, that's fine too, because what Amazon counts as the number of reviews.
Yeah, and we want people to be able to find books that they're going to like. So if we did something or didn't do something, it's like letting other people know that's great. But positive reviews they're just the best.
Positive reviews are the best. And I say there's three things about reviews. One is they tell you what you could do better next time. One is they encourage you to keep going, because the positive ones encourage you to keep going. And one is they put up the numbers.
Yeah.
So if the book's not for you, that's fine. But if it is for you, please let me know.
Yeah. Because writing is a very solitary thing, and it helps to have a little bit of feedback. So awesome. Well, I'm glad the reviews are good. The book sounds like a delight. It sounds like so much fun. And how many more fairy tales do we get?
At the moment, I'm taking a pause on the fairy tales, with the exception of Puss in Boots, which is coming out as a Lion's Den story in June. It's called The Lion, the Lady, and a Fine Pair of Boots.
That needs to be like the Puss in Boots and the Lion's Den just makes perfect sense. That's
Well,
fantastic.
it did to me, yes, absolutely.
That's fantastic.
And so I have already submitted the first novel in a new series, which is a alternative universe regency in which magic is real, and my hero
Oh,
and heroine both discover magic they didn't know they had, which is why it is called Unexpected Magic.
oh, fantastic. Is that Moonrise?
Moonrise?
Is that in the Moonrise line?
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know.
That's where
Probably that's where
is.
is that
Yeah.
where it'll end up?
Yeah, that's probably where we'll end up. So awesome. Awesome. Well, that's something to look forward to. Fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm having fun. I'm now on to Twisted Magic, which is as one might expect.
Oh, I love the layers, and I love when you read and you get a little bit extra than you were expecting. And somebody at Pixar once said that readers like to work for their dinner, or viewers like to work for their dinner. So I think as a reader, we like to have that little bit of, oh look, I found that thing. Like there are the 5 golden rings. They're the like
Yeah.
the little
I like that as a reader, and I
yeah.
like to give that as an author.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, the next book that came out this week is a Sandra Suku book, and it's Scandal Amidst the Stacks. And it's book 2 in the Dashing Rogues and Ruined Librarians. Love the title of the series, Dashing Rogues and Ruined Librarians. So Sandra is having a little bit of health stuff going on right now, so we're going to catch up with her in the future. I'll make sure I pop the link to her book in the comments so you can grab it if you haven't gotten it already. And then the next book that comes out, it's a brand new series by Jane, and it is The Mistress of Windview, and it's book 1 in the Wind or Wind Brothers series. Jane, you're gonna have to tell me how to say that one.
What? The Wind Brothers?
Is it Wind?
Wind Brothers. There's 5 of. I only have 5 brothers.
That's still enough brothers for us to fall in love with. So
5 brothers grounded in tradition, and the women who breathed life into them.
oh, fun.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have the 5 brothers that are doing what their father wanted them to do, but their father's not around anymore. And Sterling Wind, who is the Earl of Wyndham, knows that he's going to have to settle down, heir and a spare, and plans on finding the most pleasant woman that he can find. Again, he's proper, little humor. He does what he's supposed to, but he takes the 1 year to travel, which he ends up where the family owns a vineyard, which is in the Cape Colony in South Africa.
Which is why the wine glass is on the logo. I wondered about
Yes.
that.
That's where they made their money. They were supposed to be import export, and they are, but their money came from their vineyard, and then that helped build their import export business. So they have vineyards in a couple places, and that's where he ends up, and that's where he meets the heroine, Carolyn Sutcliffe, who is a widow, and she returned home with her daughter after her husband was killed in war to live with her father, who is the estate manager. And they come together, and the hero's mother lives there and starts playing matchmaker because she sees something that they don't.
Yeah. Older
Yeah,
women can often do that. So. Awesome. And tell me again where the book is set.
1817.
Cool. And we're in England.
No, this one takes place in Cape Colony in South Africa.
That's what I thought you said, and I wanted to make sure I was hearing things correctly. That's fantastic.
It was a switch. I've never done that before, but I love the research, and yeah, it was fun. And the wine region down there is like 300 years old, longer
Yeah.
than that.
And the wine is still delicious. My partner is South African, and we went a couple of years ago. We're going again this year, and the wine is still delicious. So
I have not tried any. I need to. But it was also a favorite wine of Napoleon.
oh,
And
I didn't know that.
He had 30 bottles a month shipped to him at Mount St. Helena after he was.
Oh, fantastic! I'm gonna have to tell my sister is a huge Napoleon fan.
Oh yeah, 30 bottles a month until he died. So
That's so cool. That's so cool. So is the entire series set there, or is it just because this hero traveled and ended up?
just the hero is there
Okay.
for now. We'll have the second book takes place in England.
Mm-hmm.
Third place is in England. The fourth book will be back in South Africa. And the fifth book is in Madeira, where they have another vineyard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, doing some traveling.
Cool. Yeah, and we get to like live vicariously through the wine drinkers as we go. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I like wine.
Yeah, who doesn't really?
I know.
Well, that sounds like so much fun. What is our heroine like?
She's grounded, but she loved once, loved deeply, and her husband was killed. So she thought she had her love, and then she was content with helping her father.
Yeah.
Until she realizes that she could possibly love again. But at first, she just wants a lover,
Mm-hmm.
and he's fine with that too. And then they start falling in love.
Oh, I love that.
I like that. That's a nice line.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, especially when she doesn't think she's gonna be able to feel that again, and then you get to watch her discover that there's another happily ever after there for her. That's lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. There's a lot to like there. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we'll look forward to this one and to the rest of this series.
I'm having fun with them.
I'm glad. I think as readers, I think we can tell. So yeah, I love that. Well, we had one more book that came out this week. It's When He Was a Rogue. It's book 2 in the Duke's Legacy series, and it's by Tess Thompson. And we'll catch up with Tess again in the future. And I'll make sure I pop the link in the comments so that you can grab the books if you haven't gotten them already. But we still have a few minutes to talk. And Jane, you were talking about doing the research to write this book, and I know Jude, you do lots of digging to find your fairy tales. I wondered if we could talk a little bit about, I'm not sure how to say this, like what it is that tickles your brain and gets you excited about the thing that you want to learn about, and then how do you go about fleshing out that initial idea into a story? Do the characters come to you, or how does it get from that little spark of I want to know more about this to these are the people I'm going to write about?
For me, it's probably the other way around. The characters come first,
Mm-hmm.
and then the setting. I've also have researched the Cape Colony for a book, and I wanted my characters to go out on a picnic, so I looked to see where could they go for a picnic, and got thoroughly fascinated in the development of the first race course. So they went to the races, and that's the way in the night dances. I wanted them to make a public announcement of their emancipation from their father, and of their marriage. He was busily organizing a marriage for 3 of them, and they wanted to make sure that the people that they were meant to be marrying knew that it was too late.
Yeah.
It had already happened. And so I finished up. I knew Burlington Arcade existed. I didn't know when it existed or how popular it was. If I hadn't known anything about it, I would have been looking for an indoor venue where you could get a lot of the ton together.
Yeah.
But Burlington Arcade was available, and the fashionable loved it. And it had beadles at the door to keep out the riffraff, and it had more than 50 shops, and
Oh, wow.
I had so much fun.
Mhm.
I found pictures, and I found
Did you? Oh,
articles. I found letters or snippets of letters that people had been to visit it, and what a fabulous
wow.
place it was. It was so the characters led to the plot, and the plot led to the need for an indoor and the season, because we were
Mhm.
in winter,
Right.
obviously, between Christmas and New Year.
Mhm.
And at Burlington Arcade,
Needs must.
yeah. And a
Jane,
soapbox. I got the chance to put in a soapbox.
like a
Box.
soapbox.
That soap had soap in it for my hero to stand on.
Oh, fantastic.
That's fun.
I love that. I love that. Jane, what about you? What comes first for you? The idea of where you're going to set it, or the people, or the plot? What? Oh, I think we lost Jude for a minute.
Oh, it can go either way. With this book, I had been watching The Wine Show, and they visited the oldest vineyard in South Africa, and that's when I learned about Napoleon and Jane Austen and Charles Dickens.
Wait.
So-
This is the wine show?
Yeah.
Where does one watch the wine show?
Oh, it's not on anymore, but I think you can get it on
Breaking my heart, Jane. You're breaking my heart.
Amazon. And I think it's Matthew Good. Yeah, you need to look at, but that was the very first season. And they had a bottle left over from them. I'm not sure I'd want to taste that. But because those names popped up, that led to the research, and I knew that I wanted to put a book there.
Oh, that makes sense.
Other times I get the whole story, and then I have to do the research. Recently, I was figuring out how long it takes to travel by mail coach. That's the second book for this series. It depends, whatever the inspiration is, or when I know my characters, what I need to learn for them to get where they need to go.
I always think that's fascinating for listening to historical authors talk, like having to figure out like how many stops the horse needs to make, how far you can travel, like what is a realistic schedule, in addition to all the rules of whatever time period you write in, like all the societal rules that come along with it. It just seems like there's this whole level of world building that maybe is really world reconstructing, but it still seems like an awful lot of digging to get it right.
And when you've been digging for, in my case, 15 or 16 years, there's a lot sort of sitting there that hasn't been needed, but it's there. Yeah. Like in The Lion, the Lady, and a Fine Pair of Boots, a snippet of information I used was that if you take a seat on the mail coach, you couldn't afford to order a meal because the mail coach only stopped for 5 minutes.
Yep.
So you might have enough time to race to the toilet, as long as there wasn't a queue. And in which case probably a push would have to do. But if you ordered a meal and didn't pick it up, they would sell it again to the next mail coach, and in some cases they would sell the meal 3 times.
Oh, goodness. So it's good to be the seller and not the buyer in that case.
So this is just a couple of lines in A Lion, The Lion, the Lady, and the Fine Pair of Boots, but it was knowledge that I'd picked up while writing other things, but I hadn't sent anyone on a mail coach. It was there in the back of my brain. I entirely blame the plot elves for everything that happened.
Well, it's like the perfect piece of wood in the garage that you can't get rid of because you're going to need it someday, and then someday you need it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I tell my children that I don't have a poor memory. What I have is an enormous library of information that goes on miles into the dark and no librarian.
Yes, because you can't organize it. Because if you could stick that stuff in folders in your head and then recall it accurately when you needed it, I would pay a lot of
that'd
money
be wonderful.
to do that. Jane, I'm sorry I missed what you said.
I said that would be wonderful. But
Right.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
You could have a folder for names. You could have a folder for you know, things you picked up along the way. It would be fabulous. So how do you decide where you're going to go next? Does the story that you're writing now drive you to the next one, or do you organize things ahead of time? I know with publishing there has to be a certain amount of, I'm going to write a 5-book series and this is when the 5 books are going to come out. But how do you figure out what's going to be book 2 and what's going to be book 4? Look at everybody jumping. Everybody's just jumping. It's like, what a question. Just jumping on
it
it.
depends on the series and getting to know the characters.
Yeah.
Once I know what the first one is, and then I always have to have a family tree. That's almost like the first thing I do is I do a family tree.
Yeah.
So I know who all the players are. And then once I have the one brother, and then I get to know the other family members, then I can develop what their stories are going to be because I get to know them better before we get to them.
Very cool. Yeah, that makes sense. That idea of getting to know them.
And it can be as simple as you think you know exactly what you're going to do, but then a character pops up. In Unexpected Magic, there is a 14-year-old girl who has been being abused she's a stable hand, and she's been abused by the other stable hands. And she suddenly discovers she has magic when she turns 3 of them into toads.
Jude.
And which leads to the village priest ordering that nobody is allowed to kill a toad because they might be committing murder. She doesn't know how to work a magic, so she can't change them back, and doesn't particularly want to anyway.
Because they deserve to be toads.
Now, I know she is going to be the heroine of her own book, but she can't be the heroine of the next book because I'm doing, each book is going to be a year after the one before. So she'll only be 15. Right. And then the next one will be 16. So her book is coming 6 books into the series because
she needs to grow up.
She wouldn't. Yeah. She'd be too young.
Yeah, she needs to grow up.
So, so that's simply how that order happened. On the other hand, there's another character who is the captain of the Royal Guard who has been sent to guard the heroine, who is also going to have his own book. And I always knew he was going to have his own book. And I thought it would be the second book, but a character who didn't even appear in the first book, but was the daughter of the villain, stole the limelight, and she can't be for reasons, she can't be the heroine of this hero. So she's got the next book because
she does.
I just need to tell her story as the villain's daughter. It fits there's an overall plot line for the whole series. Who cursed the king to madness? Because remember, we're in the Regency, so therefore the king has to be mad so that the Prince of Wales can be regent. But in my world, he's under a curse. So the curse timeline demands her in the second book.
Yeah.
Which pushes the captain back to the third book. So that's, as I say, I blame the plot elf.
I know it's hard to explain why characters can step in and take over, but they can just step in and take over. That's how it works.
That's all. Yeah. Have you had that experience, Jane, where you've been bossed around by your
Oh, all the
characters?
time. All the time. I have a perfect idea and then I'm off somewhere else. They've taken me. So
Stroppy lot, aren't they?
Well, ladies, it was delightful to talk to you today. I really appreciate you taking the time. I love hearing about how your stories come together. I love hearing about how you write. Everybody's different, and I always now I have wines to look up, and I have wine shows to look up. I always end up with extra books to read and extra things to watch. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share your stories with us. So thanks so much.
thank you.
It's a great pleasure. Thank
And
you.
I'll make sure I put the links to the books in the comments so you can grab them if you haven't gotten them already. And you want to make sure you grab your Dragonblade books the second they go on pre-order, because they're the very best deal for the first 2 weeks after they go on pre-order. After that, you can read them in Kindle Unlimited if you want. So